It is a great day to have Memphis Grizzlies reporter from Grind City Media, Meghan Triplett, on the show. Meghan, first of all, just the atmosphere. Like, what is it like? Because we were getting hyped. We were getting crunk earlier in the show when we played Whoop That Trick. I mean, it's just hard not to do that when you hear that song. Like, what is it like in the arena? Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, all professionalism must go out the window for you, I imagine, when that comes on, right?
It definitely does. You guys, like, I'm from Memphis, so this like even means a whole lot more. So to cover a team and to be like in this moment and experience, actually interned for the Grizzlies way back in the day, in the grit and grind days when the Grizzlies made it to the Western Conference Finals. And that's kind of like those years when Whoop That Trick became a thing. And it is just so electric. I can't describe it because my parents are big Grizzlies fans. They go to every single Grizzlies game. And, you know, they're in the upper 60s. I'm not going to give their age, but it's different from them. But to even see them wave their growl towel, I'm so like, I don't know how I feel about this, but it's okay. But in that moment, you just look around the city of Memphis because it's such a diverse place. And you're like, we are all in this together. And it's just, I cannot even describe it, but it's beautiful.
Well, that's perfect because we were debating earlier. I assume that everybody does. Michael was like, does everybody in that arena know what they're saying? I'm like, yeah, they do. It's Memphis. Of course they know what Whoop That Trick means.
Everybody.
No, not really.
Everybody in there.
You know, I don't think the majority of people do. Like, everyone knows the history of hustle and flow, but there is this like new generation, I think, that's coming up where, because you have so many kids. It's the kids you're just like, I don't probably think so, but at this point, it's taking on its whole new meaning. Like back in the day, it's hustle and flow. It's that movie, and now when I hear Whoop That Trick, I honestly think of the Memphis Grizzlies, and I think that is what's so special about this Grizzlies group. It's kind of like it's changed the meaning. It's still like in the bed of it from like the meat of it all, but it's like adapted into now it's become this whole Memphis Grizzlies like anthem.
All right, we need you to throw your perspective into this pile that we're starting to build here. So Michael Smith says, hey, Golden State should be a little nervous right now.
Yeah.
3-2. Hey, going back, this team is left for dead. Golden State should be nervous. I'm saying, no. Golden State hadn't played well. Draymond Green had some struggles. Steph Curry has some struggles, but they're still up 3-2 going home, and Memphis doesn't have its best player. What say you, Meghan?
Okay, I'm going to go with Michael on this one, and I agree with him. Look, all the points you made are right. Like, Golden State has not played well this entire series. They have not played their type of brand of basketball. Meanwhile, from what you saw last night in a Game 5 situation is that this Grizzlies team, and they did it throughout the entire regular season, they've had to adapt and adjust. Yes, you're without Ja Morant, but we've been there, done that in the regular season. I get it. Playoffs are totally different when it comes to the NBA. But as you saw in the Game 5 situation, this team has some athletic guys. They have their length. They've now gotten back into like their brand of basketball. And the biggest thing is like they're doing this for Ja Morant. They're doing this for our point guard in 12. And they're all coming together and to have his back. And when I look at this Grizzlies group in this series, Draymond Green said this after the game. He said, when you think about this series now, the Warriors are going to have to adjust because it's a totally different series. You can't take what happened in the first 3 games and say, okay, let's use that as an example, because now this group has changed a little bit. They're different without their star in Ja Morant. And what they're showing as the sound that you just showed was this team is so deep. And now for the Warriors, they're going to have to change and adjust. Well, meanwhile, for the Grizzlies, we've done it before. So if I'm the Warriors, I would be a little worried as well because you haven't played well. And I think that is the scary thing, and also like the worrisome part of it too, because if you haven't played well and the Grizzlies are doing this to you, I think they can kind of continue.
Going back to just your Memphis roots and even the Grind City days, I hesitate to ask you this question because I know, y'all tired of being, just a fun team, a cute story that makes the playoffs and, no participation trophies in Memphis. I get it. But last night seemed, it's always electric in that building. FedEx Forum is always rocking. But last night seemed like something that no matter what happens in Game 6 or even Game 7, it seemed like one of those moments that y'all will never forget, and that the franchise, this young franchise, I believe I heard it was the youngest team in the conference semifinals in the last 25 years. that this young franchise, it'll be, if there's ever a documentary or a 30 for 30 done about this iteration of the Memphis Grizzlies, last night will be kind of like a game that's going to be one for the books, one for the archives, no matter what happens the rest of this series. Is that too much of am I getting too cute there? Or was their victory even if there's a series defeat in last night's win?
I think it's, if you're talking to the players, they want more. Like, at the end of this all, they want to keep winning. They want to keep playing. If you're looking at Grizzlies fans, talking to Grizzlies fans, and from like the outside perspective, I think players would agree. But, their goal is always to win it all, to be the last team standing with that championship trophy. But overall, as a picture, if you look at this, like how this team has adjusted and adapted in these 3 years, thinking about Coach Jenkins, it's his third year. Ja Morant, it's his third year. Zach Kleiman, our general manager, who was just named executive of the year, it's his third year. This is a team that does not have a player over the age of 30. And when you think about from that first year to the Zach Kleiman, Taylor Jenkins era and the Ja Morant era, that was a season where you barely made it into the play. You were so close. And then that second year, you get into the play-in tournament, you upset the Spurs, you get past the Warriors, and you lose to the Golden State, to the Utah Jazz in that first round. And now here you are in the third year where you've exceeded all expectations. You have a 22-year-old who's leading that charge. The second guy down the ranks is Jaren Jackson Jr., who is also 22. And then you've got Desmond Bane, who's made a name for himself, who some people were saying, like, we didn't even know who this guy was coming out of TCU. People were surprised that the Grizzlies, got that earlier draft pick to get Desmond Bane. And now here they are in the Western Conference semifinals, and they're taking on the Golden State Warriors and making the Golden State Warriors look as if there might be on some shaky ground. It feels it's like that next generation of guys coming in, and you see a lot of the same similarities from the Golden State Warriors from a few years ago to what the Grizzlies are doing right now and what they're building. I walk away with whatever happens in Game 6. I want to see this team continue to play and continue to win, but I walk away with being like so happy for what they've done this year, because they have exceeded anything that anyone could ever think. It's like, I have to ask you guys, did you all ever pick the Memphis Grizzlies to have the second best record in the league, to be the 2 seed in the Western Conference? Like, come on. I know no one did.
No, but I will have you know, and it's been a long time coming since we've been trying to get you on the show. We have long adopted the Memphis Grizzlies as the official team of Brother from Another, because Desmond Bane came on the show, and we were believers all season in Memphis. We were on the bandwagon. Obviously Kelsey's been on the show. So like we might as well have, like, residency in Memphis. You know what I mean? We put on for Memphis. Like, it's 3-6 Mafia, it's Ball and G, it's Hustle and Flow, it's the Memphis Grizzlies. Like, we all in. We are all in on this show. But I don't know where I was going with that. Go ahead, Michael.
No. You said and us. All these folks and us riding from Memphis. But I need you, since we're outsiders looking in and admiring Memphis from afar, I need you to take us inside the Grizzlies family reunion. Tell us some of these conversations, because when we hear, and I hear a lot of people say it, but I wonder if people in Memphis say it, that they are a better team without Ja Morant. Who's saying that? Is that just like some rebels
say that?
Sitting there?
Better?
Yeah. Is it some rebels off at one table at the reunion, or is the reunion split? Like, some people over there, or those people over there are saying it, but us over here, we don't talk like that. How prevalent is that talk in Memphis?
Not at all. That conversation is not even being happening at our family reunion. They're not even any part of the family. Like those family members, like, who don't get invited to the reunion, who are just like, whatever happened to that cousin Bobby of ours? Like, you're just like, he's still alive. He still lives down the street. We just don't see him. Those are those people that we don't talk about. We don't talk. I have no idea who they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's just like
100%.
So not even legitimate, that you can't even see why somebody would bring that up in any way, shape, or form.
Here, people bring it up because you see the record, and because when you see Ja Morant do everything crazy, phenomenal, you're running out of adjectives to describe what he's doing out there on the court. And then when you see what this team has done without who is our MVP of our group, you've seen that and it's like, wow, wait a second. How did this team go 20-5 during the regular season? Now they're 21-6 without Ja Morant. But I just honestly, I give a lot of credit to just the culture of that locker room. the entire season, Coach Jenkins has preached next man up mentality. You know, I think the pandemic taught us that you never know who's going to be in the lineup, who's going to be in the rotation, who's going to be in the locker room. And those guys have taken that like serious, and they've always stayed ready. This is a group that will always stay ready and will always have each other's backs, and they don't have egos. And I think that's what it is. And it isn't a thing of like, oh, we're better with Ja, without Ja. It's just a matter of like, Ja's our point guard. We know that. Trust me. We want Ja out there. Our hearts break that we had to see a game, these last 2 games, in Ja in street clothes. And like in that Balenciaga, I do like the chain Ja, but like, you know, we want to see him in a Grizzlies uniform, in a jersey, but we're well aware that we wish we could have him out there. But it just shows you kind of what this team has been built around the entire season. If anything, that's a very, very scary thing to see around the league, when a lot of these teams who, when they don't have their star, look what they have not been able to do.
And that's why you have the executive of the year, as we mentioned. So the guy I want to talk about in particular, though, is Tyus Jones. Just would love to know more about him. I mean, you know, obviously won at Duke, has been steady. I feel like he's led the league in assist to turnover ratio like the last 4 years. 9 assists, no turnovers last night. I mean, it's the depth, but he's a major reason why this team doesn't seem to miss a beat when Ja Morant is out. I've heard some rumblings about teams targeting him in the offseason to take him from that backup spot and make him their point guard. Like, just give us more insight into Tyus Jones and his role and how he's embraced it and how the team has embraced him when he takes over that point guard spot.
Oh my goodness. Tyus, I said this on a show this week, and I got a lot of criticism from a lot of people. Tyus Jones could very well be a starter on any other NBA team right now. And the fact that he's coming off of our bench, we are so lucky and we are very blessed. And we are very well aware of our blessings that we do have. But for Tyus, he's always talked about, I've asked him before, like, what makes, you know, this season different than, you know, the past season. And he always says that he's just like confident in his game. And the best thing about with this Grizzlies group, he's like, they've allowed me to be that. And he's like, I'm always going to stay ready and be that guy. He takes his game very, very seriously. He takes his game prep very, very seriously. And he also has a great relationship with Ja Morant. He's not trying to outplay. He's also not trying to be Ja. And that's what, you know, I think a lot of guys, when you're coming off a bench and filling in for someone, they wanted to be that guy. And he's like, I'm not trying to be Ja. I know that I can't be Ja, but I know what I'm great at. And he sticks to that. And these guys trust Tyus. The great thing about Jenkins is how he's done his like various lineups throughout the entire season. We've seen it be tweaked like almost every game throughout this year. And he's always made sure that, you know, like the meat of it all, the guys have all played at some point together. So when you get a situation like this in the playoffs, Tyus has that experience. And when you have a guy who can, you know, you can very well rely on to give you 0 turnovers in the playoff basketball games, that makes like, that sets the tone, and that makes everything else just like work so effortlessly.
What's Game 7 going to be like? Like as wild as it was last night, if they get it back to Game 7, what's it gonna be like?
No.
We're not doing that?
Mike, we here. I love that you just said what's Game 7 gonna be like, because we're not talking about Friday. We're gonna win.
Oh,
Game 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm here for it. Game 7 is going to be the game. You guys said that if you guys have picked the Grizzlies, you've been riding for the Grizzlies. If you aren't there at FedEx Forum Game 7, I'm not going to believe you guys, because that's the game that you want to be at. Our crowd, you've already seen the videos. You've already talked about it. You saw Draymond Green even get involved. I know he kind of like twisted the spin and like, oh, well, you know, you got to be that team that has to be there when you're down. No. He probably was thinking like, dang, our fans in San Francisco, we're not in Oakland anymore. You guys aren't in Oakland anymore. You got different fans. You come down to Memphis, you get a culture.
Well, we're not going to be there, but we'll be there. We'll be there in spirit. No, I was saying hypothetically. I was saying hypothetically. Meghan said it's facts. Meghan Triplett is like, no, it's going to be a Game 7. Hey, listen.
Like the folks, her parents will be there again.
Listen to the woman.
Game 7.
Just so you guys know, I already have my hair appointment planned out, makeup done. Like I already got my outfit picked out. I'm prepared for a Game 7. So
you working?
Real talk. Real talk is happening.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Hey, listen. If nothing else, this has been a fun team. It has given us Meghan and Kelsey. Both of y'all got to come represent if and when the Grizzlies do the impossible, the unthinkable, and come back from a 3-1 deficit without Ja Morant. Both of y'all got to come back and represent.
That's not
rubbing in Michael Holly's face.
It's happened before. Let's not forget what team it happened to.
A certain team. Yes. Yes. Meghan, thank you so much. Good to have you. Appreciate you.
All right, Meghan.
Thank you,
Good
guys.
stuff. Appreciate you. Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.